You're live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Dazi. Let's move to other stories. And President Akufo-Addo says his government has the programs and policies to fix current challenges facing the country. Hundreds of Ghanaians poured onto the streets yesterday to protest for fixing of problems in the country under the hashtag Fix the Country umbrella. At an event to mark the 29th anniversary of the establishment of the new Patriotic Party, the president said the country must stay the course to defeat the challenges facing her. Nana Addo, who is due to step down as president in January 2025, expressed optimism that he will be succeeded by an NPP candidate.
Yesterday, the nation celebrated the beginning of its fight for freedom that was lit on the 4th of August in Sulpan, 1947. By one of those coincidences that perhaps have divine blessing, today we're celebrating the 29th anniversary of the new Patriotic Party, the party that has dedicated itself to advancing the ideals and values that were established on that day, the 4th of August, 1947. The political tradition that was born on that day has gone through a lot of challenges, a lot of turbulence, a lot of difficulties, but has consistently emerged stronger and stronger. So today, the challenges that confront our country, the difficulties that we have been plunged into by the COVID, is going to give us the opportunity to grow stronger and stronger. And that strength, that strengthening of our party, its organs, is going to mean one thing, and I'm very, very confident of it, that on the 7th of December, 2024, the new MPP presidential candidate is going to win the election of 2024. So our objective, our responsibility is to do whatever it is necessary to make sure that that victory is forthcoming. We have to continue our way forward in Ghana. We cannot accept the backsliding that takes place every now and then. It hasn't benefited.
President Akufo-Addo there speaking at the NPP's 29th anniversary ceremony. Apologies for that technical hiccup in playing the insert. Now, the Fix the Country coalition is meanwhile demanding an immediate change of the 1992 constitution. The campaigners who hit the streets of Accra in their 100th yesterday insist the Fourth Republican Constitution does not reflect the views and aspirations of Ghana's youth. Yesterday's demonstration saw hundreds march through the capital, bearing placards with messages calling for an end to corruption and equitable distribution of resources. Though the campaigners have been criticized for lacking a clear message, convener Oliver Barker-Vomawa says the change they demand begins with a complete overhaul of the constitution.
Over 8 million tweets on Facebook, on Twitter, more importantly, and some on Facebook. And we've been able to systematize a lot of those complaints into about 3 or 4 critical issues, which we put out. A lot of them relate to our governance and the political system that we've established for ourselves that allows the political class to get away with so many things and disables accountability, true accountability. And we've talked about the need for the constitution, a new constitution for a new generation. That's one core proposal that you saw a lot of the speakers and a lot of people speaking yesterday highlight. It doesn't take a genius to realize that we need a process to get that fixed. A lot of the things we talked about is about a national development plan that is truly binding on people, that really sanitizes development planning and gives people a project to believe in. I was raised in a generation like you, where we were led to believe in the Vision 2020 agenda. We grew up really believing that Ghana was going to be different in 2020. I think the people who developed the document even talked about Ghana being like Singapore by 2020. Does Ghana look like Singapore? And the problem with that document is that it was never made binding without trackable and measurable standards by which to assess performance. None of that was done. And so it became a pastoral document, a mission statement we never lived up to. We do not want to live in mission statement. We want projects that we can believe in, a plan that really sets this country towards fixing. We haven't had that conversation yet. We need to get into those conversations. So I think that there's a lot of these issues that can come together and coalesce into setting a project, because that's what people want to see, that there's a real plan and a vision towards how we do get this done. Nobody has seen that yet.
Now, political scientist Dr. Asante, however, urged the group to settle on a specific demand.
No serious government would just turn a blind eye to these things. Then you have your fingers bent. And I'm sure the government is up to the task. So I believe that, yes, government is listening and government will do well to fix the problems as the people are saying. And it is also in the interest of the government to do so. And I believe strongly that there's a need for them to articulate their views clearly. When they need to come out as to what is it that they want the government to fix, so that we can get a sense of what they have in store for government. And that will also help government to be able to address the issues head on. Another thing that I also want the people to do is to continuously engage the public with discussion of what is it that they want the government to fix. We want them to be able to come out and then hold seminars, symposia, and hold a host of other programs so that people can understand them and people can follow the conversation. It is important that these things are done so that the ordinary man will get a sense of what is it that they want us to know so that we can know and know it well. I think governance is a dialogue affair that you give and then somebody takes. So I believe that the way they've started is the way to go, and government will also have a sober reflection on them and be able to do as just simply providing the public good. I think that is the way to go.
Back to the governing New Patriotic Party now, and the General Secretary, John Boadu, says his party holds the record as the champion of social intervention programs in the country. Though a firm believer of property-owning democracy, the party, according to John Boadu, has introduced more human-centered policies than its main rival, the NDC. At a media event to celebrate 29 years of existence as a political party, Mr. Boadu said Ghana is better off under the NPP, warning a change in government in 2024 will slip the country back into incompetence.
NPP, despite its center-right ideology, has implemented more social intervention programs than any other political party in the history of this country. Despite the fact that we are a center-right political party, because we care for the masses, we care for the poor, there's no party in this country that has implemented more social intervention programs than the New Patriotic Party. Kufuor established the National Health Insurance and provided free maternal health care. He introduced the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty for indigent families and provided a capitation grant and the Ghana School Feeding Program. He undertook pension reforms, instilling sanity and bringing relief to retirees. He also initiated cocoa mass spraying, creating new jobs, higher yields, and increased incomes in the cocoa sector. President Nana Addo has also continued with innovative social interventions. One of his greatest legacies is free senior high school education. This is set to provide a literate society which will ensure skills and technical innovation to feed the industrialization drive of our government. We have also delivered one constituency, one ambulance program, a drone service for delivery of medical supplies. This is the first time And our drone service here is one of the best in Africa, if not in the world. We quickly restored teacher training allowances that was scrapped by our predecessors. We also restored nursing training allowances. We introduced allowances for Arabic and Islamic instructors under the National Volunteer Service Program, and the absorption of examination registration fees for BEC and WASI candidates. He also brought NAPCO, which employed over 100,000 graduates. You remember that before we came, before 2017, we were under the strict aprons of the IMF. As part of the condition, employment had been freezed. Because of the innovative policies of our government, we were able to get out of the aprons of the IMF, and by this, we were able to introduce NAPCO, which employed over 100,000 of our youthful people, or youthful Ghanaians of our country.
You're live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Daze. Now, former Minister for Works and Housing, Collins Dauda, and 4 others have pleaded not guilty to charges, including causing financial loss to the state in the Saglemi housing project. The court has granted Mr. Dauda self-recognizance bail. He faces other charges, including misapplication of public funds and causing financial loss to the state, and altering the original agreement for the Saglemi housing project without parliamentary ratification. He and 4 others face 52 charges. My colleague, Kwesi Parker-Wilson, has been monitoring proceedings in court and joins us with more. Parker, who are the 4 others that have been charged alongside Collins Dauda? And tell us how things went in courts today.
Okay, so Daniel, today it was quite an interesting moment in court when the 5 accused persons, including Collins Dauda himself, appeared before the High Court judge, Justice Comfort Kasiame, to argue their case. Now, all 5 of them all pleaded not guilty to the 52 charges leveled against them. So the judge will call the charge, and then whoever is in connection with the charge would have to answer whether he's pleading guilty or not. So that is what happened. Now, when the AG began the proceedings, he clearly indicated that Collins Dauda is a member of parliament, and as a matter of fact, must be given some kind of preferential treatment. But the others, of course, they are ordinary Ghanaians. And so it was the Attorney General who asked the court to grant Mr. Dauda the self-recognizance bail, which the court granted. Now, before that, he had already made the point that the court must also ask Mr. Dauda to deposit his passport to the court registrar. Now, this, the lawyer for Collins Dauda opposed. His argument was that, and the lawyer for Collins Dauda is Thaddeus Sorry. Now, the argument he advanced in court was that Mr. Dauda is a member of parliament he's also a member of the Pan-African Parliament. And as a matter of fact, he'll be traveling regularly to that chamber to execute his work as a member of parliament representing Ghana for that particular chamber. And so it would be very impossible if they should detain or seize his passport. But the AG insisted that they want this process or this court proceedings to travel smoothly. And so with the smooth facilitation and the swift facilitation of this court process, it would be important that the court controls the movement of Mr. Collins Dauda. It is not every traveling that it will be very important. So if he wants the passport, all he has to do is to just put in an application, and then the passport will be made available. Of course, the judge ruled in favor of the Attorney General and asked Mr. Collins Dauda to quickly deposit his passport as part of the bail condition. Now, the other 4, as you mentioned, the second accused person, that is Mr. Kuku Ajiman Mensah, he succeeded Mr. Collins Dauda after he left the Ministry for Works and Housing. He's been granted bail in the sum of $65 million with 2 sureties. The third accused person is Ziblin Yakubu. He is the former chief director for the Works and Housing Ministry. He's been granted a bail in the sum of $65 million. Also with 2 sureties. And we are told that the sureties, one must be a public servant. The 4th accused person in the person of the board chairman or the executive director for Constructora OAS, that is OAS, the company mandated to have constructed the Saglemi housing projects. He's been granted bail in the sum of $179 million. And finally, the last person, who is the Tete Angelo, has also been granted bail in the sum of $13 million with 3 sureties. So these are the bail conditions for these 5 persons.
Parker, were all 5 persons in court? Was the Constructora executive director, for instance, present?
Yes, he was in court together with the 4 others. So all 5 accused persons who are facing 52 criminal charges over their involvement in the construction of the Saglemi housing project were in court. And as I mentioned, Collins Dauda himself was in court.
Right.
He wasn't there alone. Some other members of parliament were also in court, including a minority leader who, when I spoke to, was really disappointed that at the time the court is on legal vacation, they are pressing charges against his colleague. He accused the court of being selective with his approach in terms of dealing with issues, and also indicated that the charges against Collins Dauda will not stand the test of the law and test of time. So he's confident that at the end of the day, Mr. Collins Dauda will emerge victor in this particular trial.
Thank you very much, Parker Wilson, for joining us. He was in court for us this morning as Collins Dauda and 4 others faced the High Court. They have now been slapped with 52 charges as the case progresses. Now, we've seen 7 more COVID deaths in 24 hours. The new cases seem to be declining, but active cases are on a rise, with many taking too long to heal. That's the country's COVID-19 updates. Let's take a look at our dashboard here and look at the new cases. 381 new cases, as you see there, bringing our active cases dangerously close to 7,000. 6,766. The number of deaths, as you can see on your screens here, has gone really high. 854 deaths now. Now, what you want to look at really is the regional breakdown. And we'll try and bring you that very, very quickly. The regional breakdown is a matter of concern. 532 cases in the Volta region. That's on the far right of the map. The Greater Accra region continues to lead the pack, but the Volta region had just about 16 cases at the beginning of July. It's gone up to 532. You want to look at the middle Bono East and Ahafo areas. 178 here, 200 here, 225 in the central region as well. It looks like we are getting a wider spread of the number of cases. Is not just about the numerical increment. Of course, we are seeing a number of recoveries and discharges. That's not going high enough. 98,814 is not going high enough because the number of active cases continues to stay above 6,000. 106,000 confirmed cases as of now. The Ghana Health Service says this is only going to get worse if we do not stick to the safety protocols. This is Joy News Today with me, Daniel Dazi. It's time for business.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. About 3,500 woodworkers at Kasi, Angola in the Asante region fear losing their source of livelihood with a planned eviction from their operational land. The workers have been operating in the area for decades but have to move away for a new project on that land. Now, processes have already begun to demolish structures used by the woodworkers. There's more in this report.
The Angola Mini Millers and Sellers Union consists of 3,500 members. They occupy a vast 38 acres of land at Kasi. Woodworkers here include carpenters, T&G manufacturers, and tomato box producers. Sister, a tomato box producer, has employed 20 workers. She fears she will be rendered jobless after the eviction.
And I weigh and toast, and I will swear fish, the whole fishing harbor, Milkwan in the permit to use of our so to me, I said, no,
I supply the fishing harbor with crates. I have nowhere to send them.
Other traders at this enclave are those into the recycling of polythene waste and producers of other plastic products. They say the sector contributes to employment and revenue generation.
Now, I'm having 10 workers, and we are doing our best. And even if things go on well, I can employ more than that. Yes. So we are appealing to the government to help us, or the authority involved to help us.
Some of the woodworkers have operated at Kase, Angola for more than 30 years. They detail how they have single-handedly developed the area. To them, the move by the city authorities to evict them is unfair.
We have managed to drive away the criminals.
We have the skills to work. If we are evicted, how do we get jobs?
The 38-acre Kase Angola land is alleged to have been sold to the Jute Mill Ghana Limited. Plans are underway to relocate the traders to a 3-acre land close to their current location, but they have refused to accept the offer. The traders say the allocated land is too small to accommodate them. The area also lacks basic services like electricity. George Teria is organizer of the Angola Millers and Sellers Association.
The can say, "Ma obi amfa machine maha kosi se ombaba na ye ne enyina betrase ne ehu ba ko to asase no senti otoye na asase ya transfer office 90.
No authority should think of demolishing this place. We have to sit, talk and reach an agreement."
No, that's asase no obi no and the chair saying the enye yi.
Angola Mini Millers and Sellers Union at Kase in Kumasi are appealing to His Royal Majesty Otum 462 and the government of Ghana to intervene in their evacuation fight against Jute Mills Ghana Limited. And posters have already been filed notifying them of their evacuation from this land immediately. And mind you, the service that they render here generates a lot of foreign exchange for the country. For Joy News from Kumasi, Mona Lisa Frimpong.
All right, in other news, Minister for Communications and Digitalization, Esther Osei-Kufo, has reiterated government's commitment to support Ghanaian startups in the technology space to deliver solutions for global consumption. According to her, there is an ongoing engagement between the Ministry of Finance and Communications to make funds available to support young innovators aimed at equipping SMEs meet international standards.
The minister indicated digitization is a key priority for this government. And for us to effectively digitize, we need to put in place the infrastructure on which all these applications and services would ride. And so I've been working very closely with the Ministry of Finance to see how we can put our money where our mouth is, so to speak. And so we're working out a program where we can put in place the digital infrastructure, focus on digital skills acquisition, encourage more Ghanaian entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs to get into the applications development sector.
More news coming up at the top of the hour on the marketplace. Meantime, go to our website, myjoyonline.com/business for some more business news. Up next, sports.
Time now for sports with me, Muftahu Nabila Abla. Let's talk about President of the Ghana Football Association, Kurt Okreku, who has called on the Black Queens and Princesses technical teams to be committed to the cause of building a unit capable of competing against the best in the continent. According to him, it is only when the right things are done that the teams can be at their best.
When you know your business, let the world know you know your business. Let the world hate you for knowing your business. It's better. When we are preparing to come for trainings camp, let's prepare. Preparations include you getting the right equipment. For the Queens, we have a game against Nigeria. I'm sure you know. I'm sure you know. And I'm sure you read about the Nigerian players. And I'm sure you know which clubs they play in. I'm sure you all know. If we don't win against the Queens, we are out. I'm sure you know. I want to see a working staff who are hungry and who truly know their opponents. When you are going into a fight, you must know your opponent inside out. And when you know your opponent inside out and you have prayed, you know you are fully ready. When you go in, you give it your all. If it doesn't work, God himself knows that you've given your all. But when you have a fight and you don't know your opponent and you just walk into the ring, wallahi, first round, you are gone. Because you don't even know that the guy is very good with the hooks. You don't know. You think that, oh, this guy, he only uses his left, only jabbing, you are lying. The thing will come and then you are gone. We need to really dedicate ourselves for this job. Because it's this job that will bring us happiness. It's this job that will bring you the reward that you desire. It's this job that will bring you the social recognition that you desire. But you can only be successful if you give your heart and life and soul to the job. I have said to Alex that all players and staff must recite the pledge at least once a week. Yeah. It should be part of the culture of our national team. It's part of a strategy to develop the love to play for our shirts. When you recite the pledge, you will understand what it means to play for Ghana. I believe that all of you will take full advantage of this new way to enhance the value of our players, the quality of our team.
And this is where we wrap up the Bulletin of Joy News today. My name is Daniel Daze. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is The Marketplace. See you tomorrow.